Hey everyone, welcome back to PR and Test Drive. Today we're going to take a look at the truck behind me, the 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road 6-speed manual. Yes, that's right, 6-speed manual. This is the last remaining brand new pickup truck that you can get in manual, and it doesn't cost you a fortune either. So let's get started. As you'd expect, there are a lot of trims to choose from for the Tacoma. Here in Canada, the SR5 trim is the base model, and that starts at about 50 grand. And the top trim is the TrailHunter model, which will set you back 87,000 Canadian dollars. This one is the TRD Off-Road trim, which is about 52 grand. So even though this is relatively on the lower side of the price point, this is still pretty nicely equipped in my opinion. With the variety of trims comes the variety of powertrain options. For this Tacoma, you can choose between a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder gas engine or a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder hybrid powertrain. The gas model, when paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission, produces 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. But when paired with the 6-speed manual like what we have here, the power output drops slightly to 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. If you want more power, you can opt for the hybrid powertrain because that adds a electric motor in the transmission, and the combined power output is 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, all models in Canada comes with 4-wheel drive, and this TRD off-road trim also gets a manual locking rear differential. When it comes to exterior looks, I don't think I need to say much more. I think this truck is such a cool looking truck. It's so boxy, so aggressive looking. I really like it. Up front, you get height adjustable LED headlights, LED fog lights, radar for your adaptive cruise control, and also skid plate underneath your front bumper. Depending on the trim, you can also option your Tacoma with aluminum skid plate like on the TRD Pro trim, or even steel skid plate like on the TrailHunter model. The front end look is also going to vary because you can also get different front bumper looks like a high clearance front bumper, hood scoops on the hood, or even have Toyota printed out on across the front grille instead of having a Toyota badge like what we have here. From factory, this Tacoma comes equipped with 32-inch all-terrain BFG tires, 4-piston front brakes, and also some Bilstein shocks. It also has these blacked out fender flares, which I think makes the truck look very mean. But if you want even wider fender flares, you can offer the TRD Pro or the TrailHunter. That also gets you 33-inch all-terrain tires. As far as suspension goes, all Canadian models get coil springs in the rear, whereas in the States, some lower trims still get leaf springs. So up front, you get a double wishbone setup, and in the rear, you get a multi-link setup. The Tacoma is also equipped with a solid rear axle, and of course, it's still a body-on-frame construction. So, around back, the Tacoma is offered with either a 5-foot box or a 6-foot box. This right here is the 5-foot version. As you can also see, the tailgate is damped and the bed is made out of a high-strength composite material. So not metal, but that also means that you won't scratch up the paint and it definitely won't rust. You get a bunch of tie-down points here inside the box, as well as some LED lights on the side and on the top, which they're actually pretty bright, so it's pretty useful. The payload on this Tacoma is rated for 1,200 pounds, and towing capacity is rated for 6,400 pounds. You also get your 4-pin as well as your 7-pin harness, which is nice. An extra little bit that Toyota did here is extra jack points right here for easy access. Okay, jumping inside to the second row of the Tacoma. Space-wise, it's not great, but at 5'9", I do fit behind myself. I sit pretty much upright, but that's, I guess, to be expected in a pickup truck. In terms of materials back here, you get a 2-tone cloth interior, no sunroof, but the little window behind me right here is powered. You can also fold down the headrest like this for a little bit better visibility out the back. In terms of concealed cargo storage space, you can lift up the seats for a bit of space down here, but at the end of the day, it's not a whole lot. You also have a little bit more behind the seat back over here, but I would say it's probably a few backpacks worth of space down here. If you want more concealed cargo space, you're probably better off looking at a tonneau cover for your truck bed. Alright, now the front row of the Tacoma. Now there's actually quite a lot of hard plastic all around me, but I actually really like the overall interior design. I think it looks rugged. The rubberized door handles and grab handles feel appropriate. You also have the red TRD engine start stop button, physical buttons for all your controls, scroll knobs, rotary dials, everything that you want, but at the same time you also have a fully digital instrument cluster and an infotainment screen that supports wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. Not to mention the manual transmission. The center console is actually pretty high up here, so the gear lever isn't extremely long, which is even better. When it comes to amenities, ultimately this is a lower trim, so you'll be missing out on things like leatherette interior, powered seats, heated steering wheel, and the big infotainment screen. In addition to that, you also miss out on like the JBL sound system that includes a portable speaker, and then things like parking sensors and additional cameras, so on and so forth. But you still get tire pressure sensors, heated front seats, fast charging USB ports, leather steering wheel, and leather shift knob. So really, considering the price point, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, let's hit the road and go for a drive. A lot of people were disappointed when they found out that this generation of Tacoma will no longer get the V6, but I actually think this inline-4 is a pretty good fit. The engine is a little bit coarse, and first gear has a little bit of whine to it. It feels very rugged and has quite a bit of truck feel, and I really like it. The engine also has some turbo whistle, so it reminds me a little bit of driving a turbo diesel. And of course, the engine is quite torquey as well. For the manuals, Toyota has mapped this engine to reach peak torque a little later and boost to come in a little bit more gradual. But to be honest with you, it's a brand new truck with an old school drive, and it's just great. So this manual gearbox is very easy to drive and very easy to learn with. You get technologies like auto rev match downshift, hill start brake hold, and even though you already have a very short first gear, meaning that it's already pretty difficult to stall this truck, you also have anti-stall system where it would apply a little bit of throttle when it detects that you're close to stalling. You also get upshift hold for smoother upshifts. When it comes to off-roading, you're gonna get better equipment from the TRD Pro and the TrailHunter, but I think that this TRD off-road trim already gives you pretty decent amount of gear. You get your standard 4 high 4 low transfer case, a manual rear locker, and a very short first gear. But in addition to that, you also get a clutchless start feature. Essentially, the starter motor is strong enough to crank the engine, get the car going until the engine kicks in and takes over. It's a good feature for uphills when you're off-roading, in situations where you cannot afford to roll back even just a little bit. This Tacoma also has Bilstein shocks and coil springs in the back, which is not only good for off-roading, but it's also good for on-road. So this Tacoma actually has really good on-road manner on the tarmac. The next thing I want to talk about is fuel economy. Fuel economy is acceptable on this Tacoma with the 2.4 liter turbo gas engine, but it's not great. On the highway, I'm getting about 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers, and in the city, anywhere between 13 to 15 liters. If you want better fuel economy and more power, you might want to look into the hybrid powertrain. Safety technologies on this Tacoma is, in my opinion, very impressive. You get standard Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, meaning that you get things like emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, lane departure warning, blind spot warning, and so on. The lane tracing works great. It tracks lane very well. The adaptive cruise control also brakes early, so I feel very confident using them. On this manual specifically, the adaptive cruise control will shut off when you reach below 25 kilometers an hour. It's one of the lower ones that I've seen, so that's also great. Really, the only complaint I have with any of these safety systems is that the blind spot warning doesn't beep at you, it just lights up. Overall, the Tacoma, in my opinion, looks cool, feels cool, and is the only truck left with a manual transmission option. You get the latest technology, whether if it's safety-wise or infotainment-wise, but at the same time, you also get an old-school manual driving experience. Now, yes, you're not going to get the best equipment like Fox shocks, steel skid plates, off-road cameras, things like that, but I think this TRD Off-Road trim will satisfy most people when it comes to off-road needs. Plus, it's almost 20 grand cheaper than a TRD Pro and 25 grand cheaper than the TrailHunter. The engine actually has decent amount of pep as well. Now the main feature is of course the torque, and it's great. I think I won't have any complaints about the power figure. If you want a little bit more, you can opt for the hybrid, but then again, it's also quite a bit more expensive. The more important thing I think is that day to day, this is a comfortable truck on the tarmac and a quiet truck on the highway. Heated steering wheel would be nice, but for 52 grand Canadian, I'm almost inclined to say that this is a no-brainer option. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this TRD off-road trim for this Tacoma, or which trim you like the most from the Tacoma lineup, or if you would choose something like a Chevy Colorado or a Ford Ranger. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.